I got to thinking about what I was saying yesterday, so I went to looking, and that First Amendment is something we ought to think more. Well, we ought to focus on it a little bit more because there are so many things that we just don't realize are contained in that First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States. Uh, that part about religion. Now, the original thought was those are restrictions upon the government. They're rights that we have endowed to us by nature and by Almighty God, as far as I'm concerned, but by nature or whatever you believe. And so that freedom of religion is also a freedom from religion. So there has to be boundaries set up. There has to be a way of looking at that so that it doesn't interfere with the different portions of life. Now I got to thinking, that we all recognize Judaism, Christianity, in different forms because Catholicism and the different Protestant churches and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, they're all somewhat different, but they go by the same doctrine. But then there's Islam, which is different, and even Muslims recognize Jesus Christ as a prophet. So I've been told. I don't know for sure, but I've been told that. Now, we have we have the Buddhists. We have the people that believe in that Hinduism. We have the people that believe in a lot of different things. There was some religion a while back being practiced down here in Florida by a few people. It was some offshoot of voodoo. They'd come from Africa, I suppose, or out in the islands. I don't know where it came, but that's a religion. When we get to looking, Marxism is a religion. I don't care whether it's that Marxism right out of the book that old Karl Marx wrote, or if it's this neo-Marxism that they're talking about, or if it's just socialism, the way they talk it, because it comes from. And communism, that is technically a religion, because it is a belief system. See, and now all these belief systems, we've got a point in the United States here where we've got, the last couple of years has been overrun by a certain philosophy, a certain belief system. With the Biden administration and with the Democratic Party in control of both houses of the Congress. Now, I don't care what you call it, everybody has their belief system, and if you look at that First Amendment, we're supposed to have a Republican form of government, and all the different religions and belief systems are supposed to be protected by the Constitution, and they're also supposed to be allowed within certain parameters that they all could agree on. Churches, religions aren't supposed to take people's property or anything. If people do something, it needs to go to the courts and let the courts of the government of the state decide what it is. Now that Democratic Party and that Republican Party, you get to looking at that. That is two religions. You take the other side. If you look, 1/3 of eligible voters, about, give or take, register as Democrats. 1/3 of the eligible voters in the United States register as Republicans, and 1/3 of the eligible voters in the United States either independent, Green Party, different little parties that can't get any footing, or they don't register with any party. So, see, we got a problem. And the Democrats will win an election like they did, and they'll say, well, we have the majority. That's a mandate. We're supposed to do this. That's democracy. No, that's not democracy, because when 2/3 of the people, you wind up with 1/3 of the people getting elected, you wind up with almost 2/3, at least half of the people, not being represented in that election. That's not the Constitution of the United States. Now, see, and that goes against all the things that I believe in. That goes against all the things about the Constitution. And there's another thing. If you look at that Constitution, it says, we the people grant all the rights, legislative rights, the rights to write laws, make laws, pass laws, in the Congress, in the legislature. That's in the House and in the Senate. The executive branch of government don't get any right to legislate. The judicial system don't get any right to legislate. The executive is supposed to enforce the laws that Congress makes, and the judicial system is supposed to judge the fairness, the applicability, whether they agree with the Constitution or not. Okay? So, if we've got one less than half, there's no way. If you look at how many people voted, I don't think any president has ever got much over 1/4 of the votes of the voters, of eligible voters in the United States. That's counting those that don't vote, those that vote for somebody other than the two main categories. Actually, if you get to looking at the Constitution, we're supposed to have 50 parties. One party for each state of the Union. And each state of the Union was supposed to be a sovereign country in the Union. See, there's a lot of criminal corruption gone on since the 1789, and especially since 1798. Some of the first caused this two-party thing, which was Congress and the President Adams passing those 4 laws that were known as the Alien and Sedition Acts. Then you come up with the Jefferson Democrats to get him voted out because his party had gone against the Constitution, they said. Well, they were right. But now think about it. Me, I'm all for justice, truth, and what's right. I listened to that State of the Union last night, and we're so far off the path, I can't see how we're going to manage to get back without a whole lot of problems. But we need to try, because we need to get together and do what's right, what's just. Go by the First Amendment. LGBTQ, whatever that is, they got their rights. But their rights don't override my rights. My rights don't override anybody else's rights. But we're all equal. Our rights are all supposed to be protected, and we're supposed to all get along. So think about it. Have a good day, and may God bless you. Talk to you again.